7 shocking Gen Z versus Millennial work differences. Think you've got the playbook on Gen Z versus Millennials ready to have those stereotypes completely shattered? Who would have guessed that Gen Z, the original digital natives, actually crave office life more than Millennials? Or that the generation that practically invented the term job hopping has been out-hopped by their younger colleagues? Sounds backwards, right? Well, a recent 2024 Deloitte report revealed a massive gap between perception and reality, implying that nearly 70% of managers are operating on outdated assumptions about these two generations. That means much of what you think you know is probably wrong. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on 7 surprising differences between Gen Z and Millennials at work facts that will make you go, aha, and completely change how you see your coworkers. Ready for some generational plot twists? Hit that subscribe button for GenShift, and let's debunk some myths. Difference #1. The Great Office Paradox. Let's start with the biggest shocker: their attitude towards remote work. The stereotype paints Gen Z as screen-obsessed hermits who want to work from their bedrooms forever, while Millennials are seen as the generation that adapted to office life. The reality, it's the complete opposite. The numbers are staggering. Research from WFH Research found that 20 to 24-year-olds are the least likely age group to apply for fully remote roles. A 2024 Jobber report confirms this, showing a higher percentage of Gen Z are working hybrid or full-time in office compared to Millennials. So why are the ultimate digital natives flocking back to the cubicle? It's not about the free coffee. A recent Gallup poll shows the top reasons for going to the office are building relationships, in-person manager conversations, and collaboration. Imagine this: a Millennial manager, Alex, slacks the team. Hey, everyone, office is optional tomorrow, feel free to WFH. The next morning, Alex logs on from home and sees their Gen Z team member, Chloe, posting a picture from her desk with the caption, "Brought donuts for the team." Alex is confused. For them, the office is for scheduled high-priority meetings. For Chloe, it's an ecosystem. She didn't just come into work, she came in to learn by osmosis, to have those spontaneous 5-minute chats that build social capital, and to find a mentor, all things her generation missed out on by entering the workforce during a global pandemic. So here's the deeper analysis. This isn't about loving or hating the office. It's about what each generation needs at their specific career stage. Gen Z is in a developmental phase, seeking the social and professional incubation the office provides. Millennials, often more established with families and networks, see remote work as a tool for efficiency and life optimization. For managers, this means reframing the office's purpose. For Gen Z, create opportunities for mentorship and social connection. For Millennials, make in-office days count with high-impact focused collaboration. Difference #2. The Ambition Revolution. Next up, career goals. The classic stereotype of a young, ambitious worker is someone gunning for the corner office, laser-focused on climbing the corporate ladder. But when you look at Gen Z, that ambition has been completely redefined. Prepare for another plot twist. A groundbreaking 2025 Deloitte survey found that a minuscule 6% of Gen Z say their primary career goal is to reach a senior leadership position. Let that sink in, but don't mistake this for a lack of drive. The same report shows that learning and development is one of their top 3 reasons for choosing an employer. In fact, a stunning 43% of Gen Z workers rate career development as a key factor when taking a new job, a figure that dwarfs every other generation. Think of it like this: a manager is having a career planning meeting. They ask their Millennial employee, "What's your 5-year plan?" The Millennial might talk about managing a team or leading a key project. The manager then asks their Gen Z employee the same question. The response: "I want to get certified in data analytics, lead a cross-functional project to learn agile methodology, and get some experience in international markets." The title isn't as important as the skills I can add to my professional toolkit. Here's the analysis: Gen Z's ambition hasn't vanished. It's shifted from vertical titles and hierarchy to horizontal skills and capabilities. Having witnessed the 2008 recession and pandemic-era layoffs, they have a deep-seated distrust in the stability of any single company. They know a fancy title can disappear overnight, but skills are portable. Their ambition is to build a skill stack that makes them resilient and adaptable in a volatile market. It's a pragmatic rechanneling of ambition as a form of personal insurance. This changes the social contract of work. The old promise was loyalty in exchange for security. The new Gen Z contract is, provide me with valuable transferable skills and I'll give you my talent for as long as it's mutually beneficial. Difference #3, the politics of paychecks. Remember the golden rule your millennial colleague probably lives by: never ever talk about your salary at work. It was the ultimate taboo. Well, for Gen Z, that rule doesn't just feel outdated, it feels counterproductive. They are blowing the doors off salary secrecy. The data on this is jaw-dropping. A 2024 survey found that 83% of Gen Z employees are willing to share their salary information with others. That's a massive jump from the 60% of millennials who feel comfortable doing so. This isn't just casual chatter, it's a movement. It's fueled by the rise of pay transparency laws, which have nearly tripled the number of job postings that include salary ranges since 2020. For Gen Z, a job post without a salary range is a red flag. 85% say they are less likely to even apply. Picture a split screen. On the left, a millennial nervously whispers to a trusted work friend, "Hey, I got a 3% raise. Is that good? Please don't tell anyone I asked." On the right, a group of Gen Z colleagues have a shared spreadsheet open in the break room, openly comparing offer letters. One says they offered you $80K. The public band for that level is $78.90K. Based on the market data, you should counter for $88K. Let's analyze this radical shift. For Gen Z, salary transparency is a tool for collective empowerment. Shaped by economic anxiety and a digitally native culture of crowdsourcing information, they see information hoarding by employers as a direct cause of pay inequity. Just as they use Reddit to find the best laptop or TikTok for apartment hunting tips, they share salary data to ensure no one gets a raw deal. The loud budgeting trend on social media has normalized financial conversations, stripping away the shame that once surrounded money. This forces a monumental shift in corporate power. When salary is no longer a secret, companies are forced to justify their pay structures with data, leading to fairer, more equitable compensation for everyone. Difference #4, the job hopping acceleration. For years, millennials wore the crown as the job-hopping generation, criticized for their lack of loyalty as they search for purpose and a better fit. But hold on, because Gen Z has entered the chat and said, watch this. Believe it or not, Gen Z is job-hopping at an even faster rate than millennials did at the same age. One LinkedIn report found Gen Z is changing jobs 134% more than they did pre-pandemic, a rate that far outpaces other generations. Another study from 2023 noted that Gen Z workers change jobs on average every 2.3 years. This isn't random wandering. For them, it's a calculated strategy. A staggering 83% of Gen Zers self-identify as job hoppers, but they do it with a purpose to gain diverse skills, seek new challenges, and find environments that align with their values. Imagine a hiring manager looking at two resumes. The millennial candidate has 3 jobs in 10 years with a story about finding the right company culture. The Gen Z candidate has 3 jobs in 5 years. The manager might see a lack of loyalty, but in the interview, the Gen Z candidate explains, "My first role taught me data analysis. My second taught me client management. My third gave me international market experience. I'm here because your company offers a chance to master AI-driven marketing. Each move was a strategic step to build my professional portfolio." Here's the deep analysis. For Gen Z, job hopping is their primary career development and wealth building tool. They've seen that staying loyal to one company often results in a loyalty tax, smaller raises compared to the significant salary bumps that come with switching jobs. So a 2-year tenure isn't seen as quitting. It's a completed tour of duty. They've contributed value, and in return, they've extracted new skills and a higher market rate. This will force companies to shift from focusing on long-term retention to maximizing an employee's impact during their tenure. The new question for managers is, how do we make the next 24 months incredibly valuable for both of us? Difference #5, the new definition of stability. Ask a millennial what job stability means, and they'll likely describe a secure full-time role at a reputable company with good benefits and a sense of purpose. Ask a Gen Z worker and you'll get a radically different answer. For them, true stability doesn't come from one employer, it comes from having multiple. This is the rise of the portfolio career. The data is clear. Nearly half of Gen Z, 48%, has a side hustle more than any other generation. A stunning 65% believe they need to work for themselves to achieve true financial freedom. They see a career not as a linear ladder, but as a mosaic of roles: a full-time job, freelance gigs, a passion project, maybe even content creation. They believe that having multiple client relationships actually offers greater job security than relying on a single employer. Let's picture a family conversation. A parent says to their millennial daughter, "I'm so proud of you finding a stable job at that great company." Then they turn to their Gen Z son and say, "I'm worried about you. You have your main job, but you're also doing freelance design and running an online store. When are you going to settle down?" The son replies, "This is settled. If I get laid off from my main job, I have 2 other income streams. If she gets laid off, she has 0. Here's the crucial insight: Gen Z has decoupled the concept of stability from a single employer and re-anchored it to the individual. Having grown up seeing the fragility of corporate loyalty, they view a single job as a single point of failure. A side hustle isn't just extra cash, it's a hedge against a layoff, an incubator for new skills, and an escape route from a toxic environment. The millennial might see leaving a stable job as a risk. The Gen Z worker sees not having a diversified career portfolio as the bigger risk. This is the dawn of the CEO of Me Inc. era, where stability is something you build yourself, not something a company gives you. Difference #6, the learning revolution: microdosing knowledge. Think about corporate training. You probably picture a day-long workshop or a clunky e-learning module you have to click through. That's the world millennials grew up in. For Gen Z, that model is basically obsolete. Their primary classroom isn't run by HR, it's run by the algorithms of YouTube and TikTok. This is the shift from formal training to on-demand micro-learning. Gen Z overwhelmingly prefers to learn through short, engaging YouTube-style videos that solve an immediate problem. In fact, 66% of Gen Z rate the internet as a better source for learning than a college education. In contrast, millennials are more accustomed to structured growth, valuing formal mentorship programs and employer-led courses that offer a clear path forward. Here's a classic workplace scenario. A company rolls out a mandatory 8-hour cybersecurity training course. The millennial employee size blocks out a full day on their calendar and dutifully starts the module. Their Gen Z colleague, however, ignores the formal training. Instead, they go to YouTube, search top 5 phishing scams explained in 3 minutes, watch a video from a popular cybersecurity creator, and ace the final quiz in under 10 minutes. The manager is baffled. They completed the requirement without ever touching the official material. Here's the analysis. This isn't about short attention spans. It's about a highly evolved relevance filter. Gen Z has grown up in an information-saturated world. They've become masters at filtering out anything that isn't immediately valuable because they know a better, faster, more engaging alternative is just a search away. This is forcing the consumerization of corporate learning. L&D departments can no longer be top-down curriculum pushers. They must become content creators and curators, building an internal ecosystem of searchable, on-demand, mobile-first knowledge that can compete with the convenience and quality of public platforms. Difference #7, the social media brand divide. Our final surprising difference is in how these two tech-savvy generations use social media professionally. While both are online, their goals and platforms couldn't be more different. Millennials use LinkedIn to build a polished professional resume. Gen Z uses TikTok and Instagram to build an authentic, community-driven personal brand. Millennials are the dominant generation on LinkedIn, making up the largest share of its user base. They use it to showcase their experience, connect with recruiters, and consume professional content. For them, LinkedIn is a digital handshake, a necessary tool for navigating the corporate world. Gen Z, however, is turning to TikTok for their careers. A shocking 41% have made a career decision based on advice they found on the app. They're not just consuming content, they're building personal brands that are often careers in themselves driven by the creator economy. A stunning 57% of Gen Z aspire to be influencers. Think about a recruiter evaluating two candidates. Candidate A, the millennial, has a flawless LinkedIn profile, professional headshot, detailed accomplishments, and glowing recommendations from former bosses. It's a perfect presentation to a company. Candidate B from Gen Z has a sparse LinkedIn, but their bio links to their TikTok. There they have 50,000 followers and post daily bite-sized videos breaking down complex marketing concepts with humor and authenticity. The millennial is trying to get a job. The Gen Z candidate is the job. Here's the final analysis. This platform divide reflects a fundamental difference in how they view a career. For millennials, a career is something you have within an organization. For Gen Z, a career is something you are, an identity you build and broadcast to the world. A millennial's LinkedIn is a B2B pitch from them to a business. A Gen Z's TikTok brand is often a B2C platform from them to an audience. This signals the slow death of the traditional resume. In the future, a hiring manager won't just look at a PDF, they'll look at a candidate's digital footprint. Personal branding is no longer a soft skill, it's the core competency. Conclusion. So were you surprised? It turns out the generational script has been flipped. Gen Z isn't hiding at home, they're seeking connection in the office. They're not just chasing titles, they're strategically building skill portfolios. And they're not just whispering about pay, they're putting it on a public spreadsheet. Each of these differences isn't a flaw or a quirk. It's a logical adaptation to a world reshaped by economic uncertainty and the creator economy. These aren't generations at war. They are two distinct cohorts navigating the same landscape with different toolkits. Breaking down these stereotypes isn't just about avoiding misunderstandings. It's the key to unlocking more effective collaboration and building a workplace that is more empathetic, flexible, and ultimately more human. The future of work won't be defined by one generation, but by how we learn to value and integrate the strengths of all of them. What other surprising differences have you noticed between Gen Z and millennials at your job? Drop your experiences in the comments below. We want to hear them. And don't forget to subscribe to GenShift for more myth-busting insights every week.